What's going on, y'all? Tonight, this is the Battle Blast coming at you. Um, I seen this video on YouTube Shorts, and I thought that it would be a good thing to talk about. Um, I really wanted to do a full piece on this whole conversation. Maybe I'll do one later on because I think that a lot of people uh, tend to forget that as black people, especially our own people, um, especially the ones who think that they made it or they've done well for themselves. Um, I think those are the same folks that needs to be uh, reminded that no matter how much you think you're doing good in this country, no matter how good you think you're getting ahead in this country, you're just an exception to the rule. You're just a quota that has to be filled. And what I mean about that, you're just an individual who has to fill in a certain amount of individuals, so it looks like that this country is truly um, fair and equal when it's really not. So let's get on this. They're talking about reparations. Are reparations necessary? Let's check this out.
When we talk about reparations, I think that doing reparations in a way that a lot of people think of it, where we just give it to black people, I'm not an expert on this, but I think it would be more income based, and that in itself, like I said earlier, would disproportionately benefit black people, because if you recognize that they are disproportionately affected by a systemic injustice, then doing it on like a class level would uplift proportionally more black people than white people or any other race.
Yeah, I think mostly like black GIs that were left out of like the New Deal, for instance, that to be able to come back and as a white American, as a white veteran, to get a home loan and then build that generational wealth, um, you could not get that as a black American. Um, so there needs to be, I think, reparations. I don't care really what form it comes from. I think free healthcare, free college, so that everyone has like an equal opportunity to educate themselves, to build a better life for themselves. Um, so it's sort of like, and I think Germany is also a perfect model to follow. By don't issuing, first of all, a formal apology, which we haven't even done that, but also just like donating to like different funds, and just I think a more equitable society striving for that is reparations in and of itself.
All right, real quick. We're gonna break that down real quick. Um, these men sat there and said that reparations would be good, but only if, like I said, if you look at Germany, not only did the Jews get money, I mean, they got compensation like for all the harm that they've done, that was done to them. They also got money. So you can't say that we should just get home loans and all this stuff, because like I said, when black people got back from World War II, we couldn't even get homes. They were building homes in a place. I live in New Jersey, so right across the bridge is a place called Levittown. Levittown is probably about 60 something years old, if that. Probably a little less, probably 50 something years old. Because when they came back from World War II, um, they started building in those places. My father, when he got out of the service, he was help building those homes in Levittown. He was flattening out the land and getting things done. He used to tell me about that, and he said it was messed up because he wanted to move us out there when he wanted to get in there, and he was like, "Look, I'm a GI. I'm coming back from the war. I should be able to get this and get that." And they were like, "No, it's not for you." See, America at one time, its racism was on full display. I can respect a place that tells me go fuck myself, compared to a place who sits down and says, "Oh, you're free and you're equal, but nudge, nudge, wink, wink, you really aren't." Um, and like I said, these are two white men trying to say like education would probably be the best bet or whatever for us, and you don't either you the best thing, like the one guy says, like basically give money and put some laws on the book and give us a few things that we do deserve to have, because we are still behind on the economic threat of today's civilization, today's economy, today's world. That's the best way for me to put it. So let's look into this, because we're going to have a couple of Sambos in here.
I have no problems with reparations if they had happened initially during the like slavery or civil rights movement or any of that. But to try and do that now logistically just doesn't really make any sense. And like, where would this money come from? Like, we're in so much debt as a nation. When I get this money, I'm biracial or triracial. Like, do mixed people get it? And like, do Irish people get reparations when they were indentured servants?
I think for reparations, if you can find specific.
All right, let's go back and review her case. Let's go back where she was talking about the Irish. They were indentured servants. Do you know what indentured means? That means you voluntarily do or subject yourself into that situation. Their voluntarily um, involvement in their slavery was the fact that they had to do, I think it was 11 years of service of service in the institute, and they can come out and they can join white society during that time. Now, mind you, the biggest slave catchers back then were the Irish. Who became the cops later on? The Irish. Then she turned around talking about triracial. What the fuck is a triracial person? Okay, she's mad because she feels like if we do get reparations, just like foreigners, if we do get reparations, if this country does give us reparations, she feels like she won't get it. Well, if your mom's black and she's a black American and she's full black American, oh yeah, she'll get it, but you won't get it. You understand? It doesn't work that way. You would benefit because of your mom, but you really wouldn't get nothing because it would come probably underneath her. But far as that's concerned, you lived your life as a triracial person, so now you feel a certain type of way. See, these are the same type of people that would sleep with the enemy and try to erase their blackness. See, it's a long story with that, and I really shouldn't even get into that. But she had another point too. What did she say? Like it's not feasible. It's like she hit the Bernie Sanders thing. Well, we couldn't afford giving reparations, but you can afford giving Ukraine money that they don't deserve. They're not a part of the U.S., and we're giving them military aid and money and shit like that. Y'all are not even taking care. I hate to say it, y'all not even taking care of Hawaii. Hawaii was an inside job, but anyway. Besides that, I'll talk about that another time too. But far as that's concerned, little mixed broad, honestly, you came in with the whole situation wrong. You came in on the whole situation. You start trying to compare apples to oranges and grapes, and it doesn't work that way. It really doesn't. The Germans got reparations. I mean, the Jews from Germany got reparations, and they still get reparations. Their people are long gone, and their children are still getting reparations. Not only they get reparations from Germany, but they also get reparations from the United States. The people who, like I always say, claim they helped freed the Germans. I mean, the Jews from the Germans. So, and far as that, they get, like I said, they get reparations. Okay? Nobody complained when the Japanese got reparations. Just recently, a few years ago, they gave these, I think it was four Italian men got hung down in Texas or something like that in the 1930s or something like that. And guess what? Their families got reparations. But you have three survivors from the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre. And guess what? They they said that they wasn't going to get them people. They went to court, and the same lady who said, "Yeah, they should get it," she's the judge. She ruled against it because 9 times out of 10, somebody from the higher up told them they're not supposed to get no money from nothing. See, this is when we need to put our foot in the government's ass as well as these other people's ass. But we'll hang on tight. We're going to get to it. Let's see the next episode here.
Instances of somebody being like actually deprived of something, whether specific instances of like the 40 acres and a meal promise, or whether you can find specific cases of like Chinese people building railroads or Irish people, whatever, people being deprived of things, that's okay. But otherwise, yeah, it's a logistical nightmare. There's no possible way to be able to do it.
Yeah, America's unique because we have.
Oh, so as far as everybody else going through uh their struggle in America, the land of the races, it'll be an economic nightmare if America paid back black people, the black Americans of this country, the children of the slaves of this country. But you talking about adding the Asians in and these people and that people. And let me tell you something. Let them fight for what the fuck they want to fight for. It's time for us to fight for us. And besides that, the Asians weren't slaves like we were. Okay? They were invited to come to help build the railroads, and not only that was they needed farm hands, because remember slavery started to become no more at that time. Asians didn't show up until after slavery. So really on some real shit. Let's get this right. So let's get back into it, shall we? Because we're gonna hear some other individual roll their fucking mouths out like idiots. What the fuck happened here? Hold on, y'all. Here we go.
Bent over backwards for decades now, putting minorities in a position of privilege. I feel like we have done so much to give back to the communities that were obviously wrong. And I agree with both of you. Like, had this happened a long time ago, I would understand it. If we had specific incidences that we could trace where people were just completely screwed over, I would respect it. But right now, I don't deserve a payment for something my great 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 grandparents went through, and I don't think that white people are responsible for paying that to me either.
I know we don't want to use the word virtue signaling, but it's sort of like a bribe for a vote in a way, at least in my opinion. In states like California, where they've been throwing around the idea of, oh, we want to pay out this much money to every black citizen in there, in the state, it's like, oh, are you serious? Because this is kind of like a joke, in my opinion.
I think that if we impose reparations now, I think it will rip America.
Okay. All right, real quick. Them two motherfuckers are coons. And the person next is speaking. This is a person coon. Let's take a look. Let's take a real honest look at what these motherfuckers are talking about. America has gotten people, especially black people who failed and they went to college. Those people right there, the young two black men, had no balls. They only worry about what white people think about them. They probably got white girlfriends, so they want their families to feel comfortable around them. Type of situation. These are the type of motherfuckers who will sit down later on, become politicians, and they will put them in a black caucus, and they'll be like, I don't want to be a part of that. I want to be with the white people, and I want to make laws against the black people and try to make them get up out of their way. When systematically, we're destroyed systematically by Congresses and lawmakers and politicians of all sorts. So let's hear what this lady had to say because she said division. So I'm gonna go back just a couple inches and we're gonna watch the rest of this. Hold on.
They need money, honestly.
Which conservatives are also against.
Well, that's kind of my argument. Like, if there is like that, like generational trauma or whatever, like I think examples of like free healthcare, if they could see a therapist and not be, fall into debt. And I think the argument of like the logistical nightmares of it, I think
America apart. I think that we're already separated enough as it is, and
Sorry about
just
that.
completely screwed over, I would respect it. But right now, I don't deserve a payment for something my great grandparents went through, and I don't think that white
He don't
people are
deserve a
responsible for
payment,
paying
but
this.
you can give me your
I don't
cut.
use the word virtue signaling, but it's sort of like a bribe for a vote in a way, at least in my opinion. In states like California, where they've been throwing around the idea of, oh, we want to pay out this much money to every black citizen in there, in the state, it's like, oh, are you serious? Because this is kind of like a joke, in my opinion.
I think that if we impose reparations now, I think it would rip America apart. I think that we're already separated enough as it is, and now you're gonna have people walking around going, you owe me money, you owe me money, I'm not paying you any money. It would just really rip us apart.
Giving somebody money doesn't mean anything.
All right, for one, it's not ripping this country apart. It wouldn't rip this country apart. The country wouldn't be divided. The country has always been divided, and this is an old coon ass bitch right there. Let me say the truth, an old coon ass bitch. All right, you fucking coon hoe. You got the coons. You got the two other coons sitting over there. You got the mixed coons sitting in the back over there, thinking she gonna stick with white daddy. She look at the way she dressed. She dressed like a fucking white girl. All right, like one of them little fucking hipsters. Oh, Becky, wait for me. They walking past and probably calling all types of fucking niggas and shit. But anywho, that fucking old ass coon just finished talking about it will destroy this country. This country's already the country been divided, you dumbass, and it's always been ripped apart, and it's being ripped apart more and more because people like your boy Donald Trump. It's not only being done by him, but it was being done by your boy Joe Biden. It's done by all these fucking politicians and the people who listen to him without even sitting down for 5 minutes and saying, what is it that we have in common? What is our common ground compared to our uncommon? 9 times out of 10, if people were to sit down and really have that conversation of what's common and what's not common, I think if you found more on a common ground, on a common, how you say this, on a common level, you will find out you got more in common compared to what you don't have in common. Only thing that stops us from being not in common is the fact that racism runs this country, and it always has and it always will. There is a class system here where, as white people, you're at the top of the list. That's why when everybody who comes in this country, they try to fight to be white. The Mexicans and the Puerto Ricans, the Latin people, they try to be white. They fight to be white. They fight to sit down and want to sit at the table with you. The Asians, they want to sit at the table with you same way. The Arabs and everybody else, when they come here, they get that badge of white put on them. I asked, like I told you before, I asked a friend of mine, a gentleman who works with me. I said, do you consider yourself white? He said, yeah. I laughed at him. Because when you go to Spain, like my boy, he went to Spain. A friend of mine went to Spain, talking about he wanted to see his roots and all this shit. So he goes to Spain, and he was having like a good time first couple days there. He said probably 2 or 3 days. He said, but after that, he said he ran into this woman. She's like, they was talking, and she said, "Where are you from?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm from America." She said, "No. Where are your people from?" "We from here." He's like, "No. She said, "Where are you from? Where do you come from?" He said, "No." After a while, she said, "Where were you born?" He's like, "I was born in Puerto Rico." She told that motherfucker straight up, "You ain't one of us." She called him a name. I forgot the name was, but it basically means like a worker class uh individual. Like you low to low. You're not us. Even though you have our tongue and you can speak some of our language, you are not us. You might have some of our blood running in you, but you more the nigga than you are a fucking uh, uh, Spaniard or a Portuguese or whatever you want to call it. And he felt like shit. He told me that, and it took him a minute to tell me. But when he told me, man, you could see the hurt in his face, and I'm like, well, that's what you get, brother. That's what you get. So let's get back into this. Sorry to take y'all away from where I was at. So let's get back into it.
Because they don't know what to do with the money or how to handle the money. So if the primary issue in black culture or with black people is
Let's go back.
I think just examples of like free healthcare, or a formal apology. We haven't even done that, but also just like donating to like different funds, and just I think a more equitable society striving for that is
a public apology and donating to certain
I have
funds
no problems with
reparations.
reparations
Go
if
fuck
they had
yourself.
happened initially during this like slavery or civil rights movement or any of that. But to try and do that now logistically just doesn't really make any sense. And like, where would this money come from? Like, we're in so much debt.
It will come
as a
from the
nation.
government like
When
it
I
goes
get this
from
money, I'm
Ukraine, you
very
asshole.
full. Like, do Vic people get it? And like, do Irish people get reparations when they were indentured servants?
Like for reparations, if you can find specific instances of somebody being like actually deprived of something, whether specific instances of like the 40 acres and a meal process.
We are
or whether you find
deprived of
specific
everything, you
cases
asshole.
of like Chinese people building railroads or Irish people, whatever.
We're
being
still
deprived of things,
deprived.
that's
Look,
okay.
they put us
Otherwise,
into
I
these
think
places. Look how they trying to bleed us out with fucking what they call it, with these damn
bent
fucking
over backwards for decades now, putting minorities in a position of privilege. I feel
immigrants.
like we have done so much to give back to the communities that were obviously wrong. And I agree with both of you. Like, had this happened a long time ago, I would.
If you stop sucking dick and kissing white ass, you would have a fucking backbone.
Screwed over, I would respect it. But right now, I don't deserve a payment for something my great grandparents went through, and I don't think that white people are responsible for paying that to me either.
I know we won't use the word virtue signaling, but it's sort of like a bribe for a vote in a way, at least in my opinion.
A bribe, in your opinion.
Where they've been throwing around the idea of, we want to pay out this much money to every black citizen in there, in the state. It's like,
you know what? If his ass lived in California, guess what? He wouldn't say
I
shit.
think that if we impose reparations now, I think it would rip America apart. I think
America's
we're
already ripped
separated
apart.
enough as it is, and now you're gonna have people walking around going, "You owe me money. You owe me money. I'm not paying you any money." It would just really.
It wouldn't be nobody
us
saying that,
Giving
dumbass.
somebody money doesn't mean anything if they don't know what to do with the money or how to handle the money. So if the primary issue in black culture or with black people is generational trauma, then maybe they need more sympathy than they need money, honestly.
You know what you need, bitch? You need to fucking take your half-breed ass and sit the fuck down somewhere. Because it's people like you and like the rest of them black motherfuckers up there who look black, but they whiter than you on the inside. At least you're white on the outside as well as the inside. No matter how light you are, no matter how much you curl your hair or straighten your hair or try to dress all fucking, white. And what I mean about dressing white, she dressed like one of those little hipsters, little white hipster girls. You could tell she grew up in that area. Everything about her tells you that. The black dude, you could tell he went to college or he grew up in that type of environment. All these people are screwed up mentally. They don't have nobody to really sit down and talk properly. And you got these white so-called white liberals. These white liberals will stab you in the back. If you listen to what a lot of them said, they don't agree with us getting anything. No reparations, no money. If we get anything, we're sorry. Here, some free college. Or, bitch, I could pay for my own college if you give me the money. I should be able to open a fucking store if I want one. I should be able to fucking help my community and uplift my community with that money if there's a group of us willing to do it. You know what I mean? If a bitch want to ride around a Mercedes Benz, let them. If they get broke tomorrow, let them. That's their ass. But for the people who know what they want to do with their money, let them have their money. It's been owed to us. You give money, this country gives money to everybody. Like I said, it gives money to Afghanistan. It gives money to fucking China. It gives money to Japan. It gives money to all these motherfucking places. Kuwait. It gives money to motherfucking that damn place they having a war at now over there. And guess what? Not one of you sons of bitches on here had the balls to sit down and say, well, they're giving money to Ukraine. And the Tulsa, what happened to the Tulsa victims? They're still alive. I don't see none of you motherfuckers sitting there. Y'all sound like Fox News. I don't see none of y'all up there sitting there saying, well, the victims of Tulsa are still alive. Why can't we give them something? When it comes to black people getting anything in this country, we are supposed to never get anything. You know what I'm saying? This is how these people get down. You understand what I'm saying? This is how they get down. Let's go, cause this little half breed bitch here, she gets on my nerves. You know, you could tell her mama or her daddy white, and they brainwashed her little stupid ass.
Which conservatives are also.
Well, that's kind of my argument. Like, if there is like that, like generational trauma or whatever, like I think examples of like free healthcare, if they could see a therapist and not be, fall into debt. And I think the argument of like the logistical nightmares of it, I think if we want to pay for something in this country, we usually find a way to do it, especially when it comes to the military. So, we pay for multi-billion-dollar
It's
jets.
not the dollars, it's who's supposed to get them.
Not to attack progressive, but that is like the most progressive idea in the world. Is like I can see the headlines like reparations voted on in Congress to be paid in the form of free therapy for people in the hood. That just sounds like the funniest thing in the world. But
Well, I also don't think it's gonna come directly from like.
You hear that? He tried to make a joke, and they all like, ho, 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 ho. Oh, everybody in the hood gets free health care for mental. You know what? You just proved your racism.
White person to black person, like, oh, your lineage affected his lineage.
It is though. Like in San Francisco, they were going to raise the average family or the average household in San Francisco was expected to pay $600,000 each with the $5 million per black person proposal that they had. And I used to live in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I was repulsed by that because you have so many homeless veterans on the streets, and they were going to give black people a home for as little as $1 just for being black. Mind you, slavery wasn't even in California. So why that was going to be the case?
Excuse me, sir. Slavery was in California. California was supposed to be a free state, and once California started to become established and blacks start showing up there, y'all made it possible for the slave owners to come and retrieve the slaves, or y'all started using the blacks as slaves when it came to y'all building the railroads again. Remember, blacks and Asians both were on the railroad. Don't sit down and say they weren't on just on the East Coast going into the West Coast. No, they worked alongside with the Asians. Do some research, you coon ass fucking ass kissing. You probably gay anyway. Look at them.
It's like, I don't understand, but it's extremely unrealistic to think that the average family in San Francisco can afford that.
That's because he wants to get realistic.
Okay, but you don't really care about homeless veterans, right? Like,
That's
you
just a
don't
laughable
support.
idea.
You don't
I
know
feel like
me.
all your arguments are ad hominem.
But you're
Listen to that and talking about homeless vets and shit. There's more black people that's homeless in this country. And over in California, it's more black people out in the street. Black and I hate to put the and, but also some Hispanics out there that's homeless. And white people are feeling, a lot of white people now are starting to feel the bite and the sting of California, because it's going to be, see, the government wanted a playground for the rich. And Hollywood, California, the whole California area is supposed to be just for the rich people. That's why they're trying to flood out all the poor people who can't afford to live there. And that's why you see a lot of people on the street in California. that links into what's going on in Maui. But like I said, that's another story for another time. And let's get back into it.
Literally every single one at
You're
home.
here as a conservative. So what policies do you support for homeless veterans?
There's ways to address it. I mean,
Specifically.
for homeless in general,
That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, okay, let's say that we didn't find a middle ground in there,
Yeah.
Alright.
but that's a great ending note. White liberals have a savior complex.
We're gonna go into another piece real quick. Like I said, one day I'm gonna do a full piece on this one. The reason why I didn't go a full piece on this one is because I'm talking about reparations. Now, I saw this on Fly Nubian Queen, this one right here. And I want you to see this Chuck Todd interview on what is called Meet the Press. So let's check it out. I'm gonna let it play halfway through. I'm gonna do a piece by piece because I don't know how long I got on this on my recording. So let's go.
What's your plan to watch the game today?
I have to watch my neighbor's NFL Sunday ticket.
Sorry about that, y'all.
You know what it is? My plan from Verizon.
Welcome back. We want to dive in deeper. As we saw earlier, reparations is a hugely divisive issue. A Pew Research poll taken in late 2021
Remember,
found that
divisive
by a
issue. It's nothing divisive about it.
Americans oppose reparations for African Americans. And look at the racial split. Whites overwhelmingly oppose reparations, 80%. But the numbers are almost exactly reversed.